Good morning, all of you. Now, today we'll continue with the vocabulary in English language, and we'll start with a new figure of speech here, oxymoron. Alright, page number 173. Okay, so like yesterday we were doing that what are figures of speech? So figures of speech are words that are used to make the language more dramatic, add a more artistic effect to it, and the main thing about figures of speech is that it has two meanings. It has a literal meaning, and along with it, it also has a symbolic meaning. So what it means is that the real meaning of the word is different from what the poet or the writer is trying to imply. Okay, now oxymoron is also a figure of speech, and now this is a literary device in which two opposite things, two opposite ideas are used together. Like we say, the glass is half full. Alright, now half and full. Half means, you know what half means, and full means obviously just the opposite. So when we use two opposite ideas together, now that is what is called as oxymoron. And even the word oxymoron, now that also comprises of two opposite things. And now this word, it comes from ancient Greek word oxymoron, and which is a compound of two words, oxys, which means sharp or very keen, and moros, which means dull or stupid. So the word oxymoron, it itself means wise foolishness, means someone who is sharp and keen and bright, and moron means dull or being stupid. So the word itself is an oxymoron, and it means wise foolishness. Okay, now why do we use oxymoron? Now it produces, page number is 173. Okay, now it is used by writers and poets to bring about a dramatic effect in prose and poetry, and writers use it for varying purposes, and now sometimes it is used to call to attention the dual characteristic, or the dual or the double nature of a thing, an object, or a concept. And for example, this title of a famous book by Milan Kundera, let's see what the title is, The Unbearable Lightness of Being. Now see, unbearable, and along with it just the opposite, lightness. Something unbearable would be very heavy, and lightness is just the opposite of it. Like parting is such sweet sorrow. So sorrow, grief, sadness, and just the opposite is sweet. So parting is such sweet sorrow. So basically, oxymoron, what they do, they provoke our thoughts, alright, and they make us to think, ponder about the meaning of contradicting ideas. Now we use two contradicting things together in oxymoron. So they basically want us to think, to ponder, to wait and think about the meaning of the contradictory ideas. And now normally when people they use oxymoron in everyday conversations, now they do not use it to make deep statements, alright, like the one above, but when they are used in everyday speech, they simply use to add some flavor, alright, some artistry to their speech. Okay, so that is what oxymorons are. Okay, now let's try to do the first exercise here and read this extract from a poem by Lord Tennyson and identify the oxymorons used here. Alright, Lancelot and Elaine. The shackles of love straighten him, his honor rooted in dishonor stood, and faith unfaithful kept him falsely true. Okay. Yes, you understood the meaning of oxymoron? Now tell me, just 3-line poem, tell me what are the oxymorons here? We'll have to underline them. First line, shackles of love straightened him. What are shackles? The chains that bind people, alright, that are used to bind prisoners or someone whom we want to keep in bondage. So those are shackles. And straightened, are shackles straight? Are the chains straight?
No, ma'am.
So,
No, ma'am.
all right. So here also in the first line itself, it is two contradicting things. Shackles of love straightened. So underline that. Shackles of love straightened. All right. Second line you will tell. His honor rooted in dishonored stood. Two opposite ideas.
Honor and dishonor.
Right. Honor rooted in dishonor. Underline that. Alright, third line. And faith unfaithful kept him falsely true.
Faith unfaithful. Faith unfaithful. Falsely true.
Right, falsely true. So twice in this line we have oxymorons. Faith unfaithful and falsely true. Alright, let's move on to exercise B. There are oxymorons used in each of these sentences. You have to identify the oxymorons in the following sentences. The first one, there was a love-hate relationship between two neighboring states. Yes. First one.
Love-hate relationship.
Alright. Underline love-hate relationship. Love-hate. Okay. Next one. The professor was giving a lecture on virtual reality.
Virtual reality.
Yes, very good. Virtual reality. Two opposite ideas at the same time. Paid volunteers were working for the company.
Paid volunteers.
Right, paid volunteers. Now, paid employees are different and volunteers are different. Those who on their own volunteer to do something, alright, offer to do something. So, here two opposite ideas, paid and volunteer. Okay, the contractor was asked to give the exact estimate of the project.
Exact estimate.
Right, exact estimate. Now estimate is not exact, but exact estimate. So that is an oxymoron. Okay, next. The doctor was absolutely unsure of the nature of his illness.
Absolutely unsure.
Very good. Absolutely unsure. All the politicians agreed to disagree.
Agreed to disagree.
Very good.
Agreed to disagree.
Yes, agreed to disagree. There was an employee in the office who was regularly irregular.
Regular.
Yes, regularly irregular. See how the use of oxymoron, it makes the language more dramatic and more deep, and like we could say there was an employee in the office who was very irregular. All right, but so that would be a normal sentence, but when we use regularly irregular, so it adds something more to that plain simple sentence. The hero of the play was so dejected that he was the perfect embodiment of being alone in a crowd.
Perfect embodiment. Alone in a crowd.
Right, alone in a crowd. Alright, so you understood what is oxymoron? All of you? Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Alright, so let's move on to prefixes and suffixes. Page number 175, prefixes and suffixes. Okay, now this you tell me. You have been doing this all along, I don't know since how many years. So tell me what are prefixes and what are suffixes. Yes, come on class. Prefix, suffix.
Ma'am, prefix are a group of words that are added in the beginning of a word to change the meaning of it.
Right, prefix is added the beginning of a word to make or to create a new word, and this new word has a different meaning altogether. Like happy, you add a prefix un and it entirely changes the meaning of the word and it makes it unhappy, sad. Okay, what is a suffix?
Suffix is added to the word that are added
Suffix are those words which are added at the end of the sentence.
Alright, so suffix is added to the end of a word and the effect is same. It is added to create a new word and this new word also has a different meaning. Okay, so some common affixes and their meanings and examples are given here. Affixes means some of them are prefix and some of them are affixes and suffixes. So basically why they are viewed affix, they can, some of them are prefix and some of them are suffix. Okay, so you get to know, yes, correct, suffix is added to the end of the word to make a new meaning, new word with a new meaning. Okay, now see the different prefix are given here, then different suffixes are given here along with their meaning and along with their examples. So you need to go through the entire table and so that will be your homework to go through the entire table on page number 175 and 176 and then let's have a look at exercise A. Study the following table that gives the prefixes and an example using each prefix. Deduce the meaning of the prefix and write another word using the prefix. Alright, so the first one is done for you. Tele, prefix means far. Two words you have to make. One they have already done for you. The second one you will have to make. The first example is done for you. Telephone and telepathy. Okay, the second one is miss. What does miss means? See?
Bad.
Wrong or bad.
Okay, bad. One is given for you. Misbehave. What would be the other one?
Misunderstand.
Misuse.
Okay, misuse, misunderstand, misjudge. You can write any word here. Okay, poly,
Many.
Many.
many. Okay, one is given for you. Make one more.
Polynomial.
Polystar.
Okay, polynomial. Good. Dia or dia. What you can say? Dia. Yes, dia. Dia.
Passing through.
Across.
Okay, passing across. One is given for you. Diameter. Another one.
Diagram.
Diagram.
Diagram or
Diagnostic.
diaphragm also. Right?
Di-
Okay. Semi.
Half.
half.
Half. One word is given. Semi-conscious. Give another word. Yes.
Semicircle.
Semicircle.
Semi-annual.
Right. Correct. Okay. By.
Two.
Two. Okay. One is given. Bicycle. What would be the other one?
Binomial.
Okay. Binomial. Bisect also. Okay. Non.
Not.
Not. Okay. Nonsense means not making any sense. One more word with non.
Non-violence.
Okay. Non-violence. Good.
Non-vegetarian.
Okay. That is also correct. Over.
Across. Overexcited.
Okay. Over means more. Okay. More than. So, over enthusiastic. What does that mean? More than enthusiastic. Much more than enthusiastic. So, what is the other word that you said? Over.
Overpaid.
Okay.
Over smart.
Yes. Overexcited. Overjoyed. Pre.
Overconfident.
Yes. Overconfident. Okay. Pre. Meaning of pre.
Before.
Before.
Okay. Before. Then. Yes.
Preview.
Preview.
Prehistoric.
Very good. Preview. Even prefix. So preview, prefix. Okay. Re.
Again.
Again. Okay. Regain. One more word.
Reassemble.
Okay, reassemble.
Recycle.
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 Yes, correct. Reorder. All are correct.
Relate.
Yes, beta.
Ma'am, relate.
Rel- relate.
Yes, ma'am, because if we remove re, then late is a complete word.
Okay. All right. So that was good. You all did good in that particular exercise. Now let's have a look at exercise B. Let's try to finish this off, and whatever would be left, if some are left, then that would be your homework. Unscramble the words and underline the prefix or the suffix. One has been done for you. Full of help. One first is done for you. Helpful. And they have also underlined the, so if there is a prefix or a suffix, you have to make sure what is prefix and what is suffix, and then you have to underline. So in this word helpful, full was the suffix, so they have underlined full. Okay, next, half of a sphere. What is, yes, someone wrote the answer, semicircle. First is semicircle. So what do we have here? Prefix or suffix?
Prefix.
Alright, what is
Semi.
the prefix here?
Semi.
Correct. Alright. To fail to knowledge, to fail to notice.
Overlook.
Okay, correct. Overlook. What do we have here? Prefix or suffix?
Prefix.
Okay, what is the
Prefix.
suffix here?
Over.
Over. Good. Build again.
Rebuild.
Rebuild.
Builder.
Okay, rebuild. What do we have? A prefix or a suffix here?
Prefix. Prefix.
Yes, prefix.
Prefix.
Okay, correct. Without any fear.
Unafraid.
Unafraid.
Right, unafraid. Prefix or suffix?
Prefix.
Prefix.
Alright.
Un.
Number 5. Full of cheer.
Cheerful.
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 Correct. What do we have? Suffix or prefix?
Suffix. Suffix.
What is
Suffix.
the suffix here?
Full.
Full. Correct.
Full.
Okay. So we have done from 1 to 5. Now 6 to 10 are left. And that you do on your own. And when we meet tomorrow, then we will discuss this and we'll move on. Okay. So what we did today, have you all understood? Any confusion, anyone?
No.
No, ma'am.